G'day sheeple, welcome back. Here's another video. I'm going to do a reaction video this time, and it's 10 things that you should do in Manila. So I live in Manila. I've been here for 10 years almost. So this will be interesting for me as a local person and as a former tourist, just to see how well they do with this video. I'll leave a link for the original video in the notes. So let's have a look. Let's get straight into it. And straight off the bat, we're looking at two jeepneys and the LRT. And that is Taft Avenue. And right behind the camera is Times Square or Maddox. So I know exactly where this is. This is just a little bit down from Luneta Park. So let's see what they have to say and see if it is accurate. Let's go. The LRT.
Many international tourists visit the Philippines for its breathtaking beaches and world-renowned natural wonders. However, when you happen to be in the country's capital city Manila, be sure to not miss the vibrant city's interesting tourist attractions. Exploring the city of Manila in the Philippines for the first time can be overwhelming. But if you have a well-planned itinerary, your visit to the busy city will absolutely turn into an amazing travel experience, as Manila has a lot of exciting tourist spots, fantastic food spots, and great shopping destinations.
Definitely Divisoria. There's Chinatown.
Here are the best things you can do while you're in the Philippines' capital city, Manila.
So, first thing I'd like to talk about is just this. Okay, so this is Divisoria. Alright, now have a look at that screen there. How many jeepneys do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably about 20 jeepneys there. Okay, that's the main mode of transport in the Philippines. It's cheap. It's only 8 pesos. It'll take you up to 3-4 kilometers. Okay, quick. Takes about 15 people. Easy. Just hail them, they pull over, you jump in, give them the money, they'll drop you off wherever you want. Okay, so that's when you really know you're in Manila. Okay, every time I come back to the Philippines, as soon as I see a jeepney, I go on back home. And most of them are pretty bland, but if you have a look at them, they all have different logos, they've got different names, they have different themes. And they even have, in a lot of places in the Philippines, they'll have competitions about who's got the best jeepney. And some of them, they invest a lot of money into them, like 30,000–40,000 US dollars. And they have beautiful engines and beautiful murals all over them. But here, I actually can see that one, that Bigfoot. Or is it Bigfoot? No. That's the wrong one. I thought that was a Bigfoot because I've actually caught Bigfoot before, but that's not it. That's Baroon, I think. So my mistake, but let's keep going. So this is Divisoria, the oldest Chinatown in the world.
The country's capital is an energetic metropolis with rich history and culture. Being the center of the country's economic, political, and cultural activity, Manila is the second most populous city in the Philippines after Quezon City, but it's also one of the fastest growing cities in Southeast Asia.
So this is Jones Bridge. So this is the first bridge ever built in the Philippines. So when we look over that side of the river, so this is the Pasig River. So that's, if you see the gateway into Chinatown, so that's the oldest Chinatown in the world. Okay, it's ridiculous, 1570 or something. But if we come back to this side, we've got Intramuros, which is the old Spanish fort. So this is the first bridge ever built in the Philippines. It's called Jones Bridge.
Manila for many travelers is often a layover or a stopover before going to other famous destinations in the Philippines. Some travelers usually skip the city without realizing that it also has a lot to offer. Manila is home to plenty of open spaces, public parks, historical landmarks, and it's full of fun activities that you can do.
The Casa Manila, I actually had my wedding.
Though it's known as a crowded and a busy city,
Casa
Manila still has plenty of relaxing parks and open spaces that are worth visiting. One of the most visited parks in Metro Manila and in the entire Philippines is the iconic Rizal Park or Luneta Park. This covers an area of 58 hectares, and it is considered as one of the largest urban parks in Asia. The park features beautiful gardens, a children's park, picnic grounds, a musical fountain at night, and famous historical monuments. Rizal Park is also a great place for a morning or evening walk and a favorite biking and jogging destination for people around Metro Manila.
This is the Rizal Monument. So Jose Rizal was one of the leaders of the revolution against the Spanish. So Intramuros is just a little bit, another kilometre up the road, and he was kept there as a political prisoner and until they brought him here and shot him. So this monument here is where Jose Rizal was shot, and if you have a look there you can see there's a guard, there's a sentinel that will stand there, and they stand there all day, all night. Of course, like many other, memorials, they take turns, of course, but you really feel sorry for these guys sometimes. It can be 12 o'clock in the day and it can be 45 degrees and they're in their full kit, their full garb, standing there, traffic going past, nobody even there, look, nobody tourists, and they just stand there. Also, you can just see here, this is the flagpole. It's one of the best things about Manila. I always love, because I live this way, and Manila, Makati's this way to the east. So when you drive down Rojas Boulevard, you always see the big Filipino flag flying in the wind, which is a fantastic thing to always see. And they also have a law in the Philippines that the Philippine flag is not allowed to get wet. And if you've been to the Philippines, it rains quite a lot, so every time it rains they have to unfurl it and bring it back down and then put it back up when the sun comes back out. But this is the old part of Manila. Okay, so we have Greater Manila now, but Manila is actually a small little city, just like London is 1 mile by 1 mile. Okay, same thing. Manila is only about 1 mile by 1 mile, but we call all of the other cities Greater Manila.
When visiting the place, there are also several other must-see areas surrounding Rizal Park.
So I stopped it there, but if we just go back, that stadium, that's where all the inaugurations of the presidents happen. Okay, so that's where they get signed in. These are called colesses. Okay, so these little horses, ponies maybe, I don't know if they're horses, I think they're Philippine horses, they're not ponies. So these are colesses. These are mainly around all the tourist spots, so you can jump on one of these things, pretty cheap, maybe $30. They'll take you for a 2-hour trip around Luneta Park and into Intramuros, Fort Santiago. Really nice time, just cruising along. There's another one across the street, so if you come to Manila, this is the place to catch a colesa in Intramuros or Luneta Park.
Includes the National Museum Complex, which has 4 sections: National Museum of Fine Arts, Anthropology, Natural History, and Planetarium. All 4 museums are located within Rizal Park's local area. Admission is free of charge for everyone visiting the museum complex, so be sure to check them out, whether or not you're an art or a history buff. The National Museum Complex is surely the perfect place to appreciate the fascinating artworks of Filipino artists.
And the museum's just been fully renovated. So I play golf at Intramuros, and the golf course goes around and it goes right next to the museum. So they've spent a lot of money. They've repainted everything. It looks really fantastic. Got beautiful lights on it at night time now. They've got all the fountains working. The new mayor of Manila, Isko Moreno, really has done a great job of cleaning up around Intramuros because it's such an iconic tourist spot. So yeah, really hats off to him, because at night all the trees along Rojas Boulevard have all got like twinkle lights in them now, and really beautiful at night time now. Even got cat's eyes in the road. Wow.
And to learn about the interesting Filipino culture and history, also not far from Rizal Park is Intramuros, the historic walled city within Manila which was built during the 16th century. Intramuros is one of the oldest districts of Manila built by the Spaniards during the Spanish colonial period. It served as the center of political, economic and religious power for 400 years, and its walls were meant to protect the city from foreign invasions.
So Intramuros just means walled city in Spanish, and you just saw the golf course there, and you also saw, what's the name of the church there? It's the oldest church in the Philippines. I just can't think of it at the moment. San Augustine's. St. Augustine's is the oldest church, 1570 or something like that. But this fort has been held by the English, the Spanish, the Americans, the Japanese, the English again, the Americans again, the Dutch. Okay, so this is a really historic place, and I got married here. I was fortunate enough to get married at Intramuros. They might even show the chapel.
Today, the famed walled city Intramuros has become one of the most popular tourist attractions in the country and was even hailed as the world's top tourist attraction of 2020 by World Travel Awards. Intramuros will surely provide you with an incredible experience, as its hundreds of years old architectural structures, preserved historical churches and cobbled streets will let you travel back in time. Before you leave the city, do not miss to go food tripping around Binondo, a district in Manila which is considered as the world's oldest Chinatown. When you ask the locals about where to go for a food tour around Manila, they'll surely recommend Binondo. Upon entering the district, you will also be impressed with Binondo's fascinating Jones Bridge, one of the oldest bridges in Metro Manila, that attracts many tourists after its beautification was completed in 2019.
Yeah, so this has just been renovated as well. Okay, so all these beautiful light, what do you call them, candelabras or something like that, light statues. Okay, so now we're looking from Chinatown back into Intramuros. So Intramuros is on the right here. If we continue going straight, we head straight down Taft into Malate. So this has all been done up and it looks beautiful at night. It's all been all lit up and everything. But just here on the right, there's actually another bridge. There's being another bridge built by the Chinese China Aid or something like that. So there's another bridge that's going to go over. And on this side of the Pasig River, they've got like this big complex that they've got like, you know, apartment blocks and shopping malls and all those sorts of things. So they're really trying to clean up the Chinatown. So like most cities in the world, the Chinatown seems to be the last that always gets renovated for some reason. But yeah, they're really doing a lot of work in Divisoria. Divisoria is a place where you go buy all the cheap stuff. So if you want to buy something really cheaply, you go to Divisoria. It's a pain in the ass. There's a million people. Christmas time is just like unbelievable. You just can't get a car in there. There's just a million people, but that's where all the local people go to get bargains.
The country's busy capital city Manila is truly rich in history and culture, which is very evident from its Spanish-era district, old churches and historical sites.
So this is the main rotunda in Chinatown. If you have a look at these churches, they're all made from the same volcanic rock. That's why they've got that black look to them. Okay, not many of the older churches here are plastered.
Please remember to subscribe and ring the bell to get new video updates. So even when you go to Cebu or you go to further down in the country, they all have this volcanic stone or whatever it is. But all the churches have that black look. That's when you know that they're old. These sorts of places are must to do when you come to Manila, because just all these. So these are street vendors, and if you go there at 12 o'clock at night, there's no one on the street. So this is their job. They all push their wares out onto the street during the day. They're all happy. They're all having fun. They like foreigners. They love tourists. They'll give you free stuff and all that sort of stuff just so that they can take a picture with you and all sorts of stuff. But this is where you really meet, you know, the local people, the local Filipino, and how happy they are. Now the food, I get asked a lot about the food. Some of it's nice, some of it's I don't like it, but that's another video. But yeah, at least you really get to see what Manila's like when you're on the street with these people and you see what they go through and you see how happy they are. Even this guy just selling corn, he would be all over you. He would want to have a photo with you, and he'll go home and tell his kids that he met a German guy or whatever. But yeah, this is what really makes Manila different than other cities. So right here you see that burnt out building. That's from World War II, of course. When you walk around Intramuros, you'll see bullet holes in all the walls. You'll see where bombs have exploded. You'll see all that. So that's directly from World War II. A lot of people don't realise that Manila was the most bombed city in the whole of World War II. This place was almost levelled, except for a couple of buildings. There's a couple of important buildings in the Philippines that didn't get touched, but 99.9% of this city was destroyed. And it's such a shame, because before World War II, Manila was called the Paris of the Orient, because it was just full of all the old Spanish buildings, and they said it was absolutely beautiful, but then it got destroyed 3 times, I think, by the Americans. The Japanese twice and the Americans once. But I've just right next to here is immigration. I know this building very well because I've got to go to immigration. Well, so that was a pretty quick thing. I don't know about, I think there's a lot more to see than just that. So that whole video was shot within about 2 kilometers square. So
So basically Luneta into Intramuros into Chinatown. But yeah, if you come to Manila, this is definitely a place that you should come. So there's lots of interesting people, lots of interesting food, lots of interesting things to see here. And you can basically spend one day just in this 2 square kilometers. So let's have a look at another one at another time. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you check out this video down in the link, and I'll see you later.